That's what they come in stock thing. This is a 24 bolt system. This is going to be for the quad, for the anytone at55. But I printed this instruction a while back in my quad 5. You remember that I did this? We'll get it down to 14.5 bolts. I'll show you where you got to adjust it at. This is an adjuster. I kept that stock. But this is the one I got off of AliExpress about a month ago. You guys can see it. This is the adjustments. Right here is where you adjust the bolts. You'll see it right here. I'll show you in a second up close. The CBC is actually a bolt adjuster. That's your bolt. The other is your amp. You want to adjust this one here. Shows in blue. What does it shows between? So that's where you got to adjust that one right there. The CBP is voltage. So I actually got this printed out a while back. I could do it with one hand. No, I'm not going to touch it with my hand. I'll show you in a second we can do it. We're going to get it down to 14.5 volts. So we can do it right here on camera if we don't screw it up. You guys will see it here. I'm going to get it on here and do it one hand, so we don't get shock. See if we can adjust this thing. 15.9, that's not good. 15.8. Slow down. Just wait. 15.7. Shit, I gotta put that back on there in a second. 15.7, okay. This is the part you adjust right here. I'll show you in a second. Right there. I got it. Let's get it down slowly. 15.6. I gotta get it down to 14.5 volts. It's dropping to 15.5. This guys see what I'm doing right here? I'm adjusting right there. I'm showing this on live camera so you can do one of these in case you get one of these power supplies. We're getting down to 14.5 volts. That's what we need to run the anytone. Good thing I took a picture about a year ago. Getting close there, 14. But the Chinese did a good job on this. I wish they'd give me more of these things for free, because I'd love to do more of their power supplies to show out so we can put on our export radios. We use for, I want to get one to run these on one of my amplifiers. It'd be good. If it can run that catalyst amp, that'd be awesome. The back of that stupid rod thing. Try to get it out of there. There we go. 15.2. I had to get it back on. It takes me, so I'm doing it all in one hand. I'm gonna get to 14.5 volts. We're almost there. Just wait, 14.9, we're almost close there. Shoot, what's going on with this? Make sure it's right, let me check it out. 14.9 volts. Let's stick it between there. Let's see. Dang. $14.9. We're gonna get around 14.5 volts. I know why it's bouncing because I got it on a stupid edge thing. Go 14.9. It's just bouncing between 15. Hold on. This thing's not doing the way I want to touch it. That's what I wanted. Leave it on like that. 14.9. I lay this back on there. It'll bounce between 15. I'm going to try to get it adjusted again. Getting close to 14.6. Gotta get to 14.5. That's where I want. We're not touching. We're gonna see the way we got confirmed contact. That's where we want, 14.5 volts. Just the same result we want, 14.5 volts. Nothing bouncing at 14. That's what we're gonna use for ourselves. That's the chart. So I'll make sure I confirm this thing's good. So I show you that. Very good. That's the diagram I drew a while back. You guys see what the input is, and the red positive and all that. We're not bouncing at 14. I kept the stock. The other one I had messed up the last time with the other one. When I messed up this guy here, when I stripped this thing, I put it back together. I have pieces for that orange thing there. The one looks like an X screwdriver. So this is actually all. This is where you hook up your negative and positive wire right here. You see the positive, the one this side here, it's actually the black wires is the one on the top. That's negative, and the positive wire is on the red wire on the bottom. And you can turn this off with a switch too. I like this too, but I leave. This is the same one I used on my Quad 5 a while back. The other one is actually for voltage, but I'm going to keep that default voltage. I don't mess the one on the right, because this is actually one of those can go to. This is actually goes to 36 volts, but this one's usually a 20 amp, buck converter. That's what it is. That's what they are. These are what they are. 300 watt, 20 amp converter, but this is a 15 amp system. It'll work with a 15 amp with the anytone. So usually a 15 amp, a 20 amp converter, it'll still be like 15 amps on the system. We're doing with whole 15 amps in the system. That's what it is. And that's how you guys adjust this. I show you just now on live on YouTube. It's not live, but you guys will see the model number. So we're looking good. I'll put this back down. And I use that multimeter from Harbor Freight. I'll show you guys the model number. You can guys get one of these soon. And that's what I want, 14.5 volts. So it's going to do good. Most of all now, I'll hook this up to the anytone when I get some time. This little case is the one I'm going to use this in this thing to put it over here on the side. Be able to make something for this thing. So it's going to be okay. I put it on this thing. That's why I did this today, because my mother's not here right now. I'm going to go see my brother for a couple hours. So that's the output that goes here, like that, red and black. This is for power supply you can use for anything you want. But they do, these are Chinese power supply you get on AliExpress. They got them on eBay, Amazon. I got a good deal for so $12. You know how I got this. I told you guys how I got it. Instead of it had been $22 when you first sign up AliExpress. That's how you get the discount when you first sign off. And this is actually brand new from 2024. The other one's from 2020, 21. 2022 and 2023. So this power supply I like because it's got a fan on it, and you can flip it any way you want. You can do a lot of things. I'm not taking this guy apart, but we got capacitors. You guys learn how to make them. But this is a butt converter reader. We'll do this for your radios, for your export radios. You can get these for like $4, between $2. This is the important thing that makes the whole thing run. You can do this on other power supplies too. But I wish I had a better power supply for my box. It's going to run a little bit better, but these are okay for running radios. They put this in a lot of, you know those radios you get like the Galaxy radios and other things like that. They use these kind of power supplies for those Galaxy Saturn radios, and that's where they use something like butt converter reader. This is a 24 volt, and I've seen guys use these, make them into power supplies, like put two together to make it into a 40 amp. But you got to make sure it's not dangerous. And this is a cord I bought at Wally World. This little cord is actually from Walmart or Wally World. Like you get it for like $4 or $9. You can get the cord, and it's 18 foot long. So we got plenty length of this. Very quite good. And it's bending the doggy here and there. So we're looking good, guys. Power supply is ready to go. I'm sorry 390 didn't do a live stream last night, but we know the drill. And you get one of these. I have this is one of my brand new meters. I have several of them like this. I got a mess up meter and the other one's not. I have a yellow one looks like this one too. This is a Harbor Freight meter you can get, and that's where you can find one of these for like $4. Sometimes you get them for free. And I'll show you the wire cutter stuff you can get. Don't want to show that on YouTube land channel. Don't want to show that kind of stuff. So this is the kind of stuff you can get for the connectors. So I took off one of my old, how I got that wire. That's actually 14 gauge wire for all of them. And sometimes those things use like 16 gauge wire. And I'll show you my new wire I got yesterday. Maybe we'll use it for something. I got this for sale on $7.99 at my local Tractor Supply store. So this is pretty beautiful I have. But I got it for a good deal. Instead it would have been $15.99. But this is actually where you get this, it's actually a DC converter, that's right. It's a smackdown non-gel. So we use these kind of wire cutters like this, and like that, and you use something like a scissors. And this is the one I took off the cord a while ago with the plug from your local Walmart world. Those outlet plugs you get at Walmart. And mostly, I only did my first, so I only paid $1 for my outlet cord. And I got it at Goodwill store about 3 years ago. So this is actually, you get these little clamps. I'll show you where you get them at. These are like $9, but that's the best way to do them. They come in lots of those things you can get. And that's what I used them for that. So it's okay. You have to use the pliers to grab them with this. The clamp like that, it'd be okay. So I have used this on my auto tuner, the one with the AT100 you see a while back. And done stuff like that. So I use these connectors and that, and one of these connectors here. The ones I use for 16 to 14 gauge wire. That's what I used on that one. Those connectors right here, and the circle here you can use for that for 14 gauge. Either way on blue. So that's the package that comes in this. So it looks like you can go up to 45 amps on one of them. Look at that. Look at the specification ratings on that. They can go as high as 40 amps or 12 amps. So you get these kind of hack, you can find them anywhere. These are the best things you get them from Wally World to get your power supply ready to go. So I'm glad. And this is the instructions that comes with this thing. So that's really good. A multimeter. So that's great. They're actually from Harbor Freight. You can get them. And you can get them lots of like that. I don't know how to use one of these things, but yeah, that's what they do. So it's pretty good. I have had this in my Quad 5 a while back with this printout photo here. I just print this out today to look at the wires. I was looking at the settings. Usually this diagram, I have a picture of this. It tells you how to use it. That's how I follow the guideline wires when I did it. And you guys will see it. I'll show you before we do anything. The ground wire is that little thing on the right. Looks like the 3 lines with a little thing in the end. The end's actually the white wire, and the L is for the black wire. That's the important things you need to do to put these in here. When you, if you get these three-way connectors, the green's the ground, the white is probably the, I think that's the, what it's called. The white is actually something called white wire. Could be the WE. And the L is a black wire for your other one that goes on the L system. So that's your basic stuff. The green's your ground. That's the one that keeps it all grounded. And most of it we'll seal it up with some heat shrink wrap later so we don't get shocked. So we'll actually put something on that. We'll slip some heat shrink wrap on it later on, or maybe just glue it around, but everything looks pretty good. And make sure this thing's sealed. And it's going to go in that little packet thing. We probably have some of these to keep the, not to touch those things. But the lid will go over this, it'll be okay, but you can cut out the hole and make it air out. And you can do things like that, or you can do things like that. Well, you finally got to adjust it where you want it, so the power supply is ready to go. And we can actually hook up the anytone AT55 right now with this. And that's what you need, a power supply. And I have one of these from my Quad 5 you've seen a while back. Same setup. Instead, the other one doesn't have a fan, this one has one. It's beautiful, it has a fan, I actually like that. You might have to air it out once in a while. So you'll be able to see how I set this whole up. We're running at 14.5, 14.6, but the way I'm going to look at it before we do, I'll pause this video for a second. Still looks the same, guys. 14.5 volts. I'm holding them together so nothing won't touch them. That's how we do it. And we're looking good, guys. So it's a beautiful power supply. But I bought it back in December when I got this. And it took about a month to get here, almost half a couple of days. Back last week I got this power supply. So you guys can see the capacitors and all that stuff. She's looking great. And we're at 14.5 volts. So that's how you get one of these power supplies. I'll link down the description down below where you can get the power supply and the butt converter reader. What it is. The butt converter, you can get that. We'll put that down in the description down below so you can get one of these and learn how to play around with these. And you get them on AliExpress and you get them on Fleabay, Amazon. They have these. And make sure you get one of these power supply for your export radios. If you're going to start out in the hobby for everybody else, these will be a great power supply. I'm going to let this air out the smell because it has a smell to this thing, like a rubber smell, but it's not the capacitors, but they have this oil stuff that makes that smell when you get these things. So you have to let them air out for a while, for a few days. It'll be okay. And we're just going to let this run for a while. Thanks for checking this channel out. Foxman362 Worldwide on YouTube. So that's how you get one of these power supply systems to run your anytone, Quad 5 radios, Quad 6, all your other radios you can do. 14.5 volts should be perfect for the anytone AT55. And you can still run the Quad 5 with it. You can run a Ranger radio with it, like your RCI 2950s, 2980s, who knows. And you can run all your President radios, and it'd be quite good. At least this thing, the only problem this does is have a switch on this, so you have to plug in the wall. That's the only thing with these things you have to do. The butt converter has a switch on it, but mostly you might not need that half the time. The only switch you need is just turn on your radio and turn it off. And that's all you have to do. So I'll catch you guys later. Thanks for coming out here today. Make sure you guys subscribe, check this out. Get one of these. Try out your export radios. Any CB radio will work this quite fine, but I would recommend to run this on my export CB radios. It will give you a little 14.6, but 14.5 should be okay, because when you do the radio, it'll actually eat that power. Sometimes it'll go to 14 volts, sometimes it'll go to 13, but it's not going to hurt it, so it should be okay with the way I adjust it. And I'll show you guys how to adjust it. Right there, those blue things. Let me show you guys how to put that back on the screws. You don't want to touch any of those things. That's why I laid it on the last time. You can hold it like that. It'll be okay. Kind of crazy crap I'm doing there. Sorry about that. Put it back on that system. We're back to 14.5 volts. So we're okay. So that's what you do. You can lay it on there when you do adjustment. So it's looking good. Sorry about that all. So before you get one of these for your export radio, they use these for other radios too. They use these in Galaxy radios, I've seen. And I've seen they put them in a lot of those base station radios I've seen. One of these too I've seen. And make sure that thing's holding it down. And we got 14.5 volts. Just remember to adjust that blue thing on the left side. The right side blue one. And that's how you get the voltage sound. That's how you do it. I've seen a video a while back how I did this. That's where I learned it from. And that's how I got it. So, make sure you check these out. They actually will go into Galaxy radios, like Connex radios, like the one Wagon Master, the big base station. They use these power supplies in those radios to replace the old ones with one of these. That's what they use. And sometimes they turn these into bench power supplies. But this is for my quad, for my anytone AT55. And then it's a backup power supply in case the other one breaks down. For my quad 5, we got this one. The one with the quad 5 doesn't have a fan, but this one actually has. I like this one. And I'm not going to take this thing apart. I'll look at it later on, but not right now. So it's going to be okay. It's got 15 amps. And mostly this is a 20 amp butt converter reader, but it'll be okay. So you're running 15 amps with a 14.5 amps. We're looking good. And I'll catch you guys later. Thanks for checking this out today. This is UTX 362 East Tennessee. And I'll catch you all later.